Most people follow the same financial playbook their parents taught them. Save money. Diversify across stocks and bonds. Wait for compound interest to do the work. But here's what doesn't add up. If that advice actually worked, the wealth gap wouldn't be widening. The top 1% aren't using better versions of the same strategy. They're operating under entirely different rules. These aren't secrets. They're principles that have always worked, but conventional wisdom doesn't teach them. In 2026, with inflation eroding purchasing power and economic uncertainty rising, the gap between middle-income earners and actual wealth builders comes down to 4 specific laws. Understanding these before the next economic shift hits changes everything. Here's what most people miss. When one asset class rises, another typically falls. The wealthy use this to their advantage by building portfolios where losses in one area offset gains elsewhere. Think about what happened in recent years. Stocks and bonds moved together more than they should have. When inflation spiked, traditional portfolios got hit from both angles. Meanwhile, commodities and real assets moved up. The 1% already own both. They're not trying to pick winners. They're building relationships between assets that move in opposite directions. The mistake most people make is trying to time the market instead of building inverse relationships into their core holdings. You stop asking what's hot right now and start asking what moves opposite to what I already own. When equities struggle during inflation, certain commodities gain. When the dollar weakens, real assets strengthen. Money that sits still loses power. Money that moves, compounds, and cycles gains exponential force. In a low-yield savings account, your dollar loses ground to inflation every single month. That same dollar in a dividend-paying asset or short-cycle investment maintains its value and grows it. The difference between those two paths compounds over time into the difference between comfortable retirement and actual wealth. The wealthy don't hold cash because they understand velocity. They cycle capital through income-producing assets. They reinvest gains. They keep money working across multiple cycles instead of parking it in one place, waiting for something to happen. The distinction between passive wealth and active wealth matters now more than ever. Passive wealth shrinks. Active wealth multiplies. The difference is velocity. You need your money working, not waiting. What separates the top 1% from everyone else isn't just how much they earn or how well they invest. It's how they structure their wealth so it's insulated from liability, taxes, and economic shocks. Most people think about wealth in terms of accounts and investments. The wealthy think about wealth in terms of structures. An LLC protects assets differently than a trust. A trust protects assets differently than a direct holding. This isn't about hiding money, it's legal architecture. Diversification isn't just owning different stocks, it's owning different asset classes across different legal structures. Real estate in one structure, commodities in another, intellectual property in a third. Each structure has different tax implications, liability protections, and resilience to different shocks. Leverage is borrowed capital. The 1% aren't afraid of debt because they understand the difference between bad debt and good debt. Bad debt is consumer debt, car payments, credit cards, lifestyle spending. Good debt is asset-backed, income-producing debt that compounds in your favor. The key distinction: good debt pays for itself. You borrow at 6 to 7% to invest in assets returning 10 to 12% or higher. The spread compounds in your favor. Your borrowed capital amplifies returns while the underlying asset covers the debt service. These 4 laws aren't new. They've worked for decades. But how you apply them in 2026 determines whether you build generational wealth or stay stuck in middle income. Your move: audit your current position against these 4 laws. Which ones are you missing? Start with one, build it properly, then add the next.